Giving every piece of my soul. You swear you don't know how to treat me, no. Giving every piece of my soul.
So I downloaded a couple of dating apps, and it's not because I was ready, but I think I just felt a little bored and a little lonely as well. And you know how attention can be one hell of a drug? Look, I quickly realized that I wasn't ready for it, so I deleted the apps. But before I did match with a couple of pretty interesting people. And so I thought, like, why not just go out to meet new people and make new friends? Okay, I also kind of think I made my point about being lonely by sitting so far away, so let me just come back a little bit closer to you guys. Okay, so call me old school, but I still like to pay for the first date, but I also felt that I should have paid for the first date because I went on a dating app when I wasn't ready, and so I didn't want to waste anybody's time and money at the same time. So I did that multiple times, and now when you combine that with the fact that I've been going out a lot more, every weekend I'm just going out to have dinner and drinks with some friends, I think you can kind of see where all this is going. Like, you guys remember last month, I went a little bit crazy and spent a lot of money on tech, right? Although it isn't as bad because now I've kind of realized that that was more like company expense. But this past week in June, I'm just spending way more than I should. I'm like gonna reach 70 to 80% of my budget. So now that I'm blowing past my budget for dining out and entertainment, I need to not let it get too out of control. I think it's fine to treat yourself and spend a little bit of money once in a while, but I can't completely just drop the ball on my finances. So today, on top of confessing how I may have just spent over hundreds of dollars because of dating apps, let's go grab some coffee together and then I'll share with you guys how Sarah and I are planning to invest our $40,000, and that way I feel like I would have better control of my finances. Spending money and all is okay as long as I manage to get my finances in check. So today I just want to run you through the overarching plan of how I'm going to do my investments. So we have about $40,000 ready to deploy, and when I say we, I'm referring to me and my sister and not my partner. So initially the $40,000 was stashed there because I was telling Sarah that, hey, I may need to use some of the money in order to buy a house in the future. But ever since I broke up, I don't think I will be so keen on rushing to buy my own place. So that has taken a backseat at the moment. So most of you would have known us as the sibling on a journey to $1 million. So we make, manage, and multiply money. And last week I kind of covered how we were managing money, and this week we're going to be talking about how we're going to multiply money. So first up, we have a long-term growth portfolio. So I won't be touching this portfolio for a minimum of 5 to 10 years. I may modify its allocation, but I'm not going to be taking money out to spend anytime soon. For now, I think we're going to be allocating about 40%, mainly comprises of the S&P 500 and a few other key stocks, but I will probably rotate those profits back out to the S&P 500 afterwards. And the second asset that I will hold is gold and other similar assets, like commodities, because right now there is a big fear that the US dollar may lose its reserve currency status. So it's more of like a protection. Right now, I'm more inclined towards gold just because of its history, because gold has been used as a good store of value for many centuries. But speaking of all that, the US market is also right back to all-time highs, so I will probably start dollar cost averaging in. Unless the multi-look indicator starts firing, I won't be throwing all my money in. And also for the indicator that I was talking about, it's just something that I self-developed. It's not like some big discovery. It's based on something known as a breadth indicator. You can research a little bit more about it if you're interested. But what I am using it for is a proxy to determine whether a market has been really oversold, which means we can usually expect a bounce. The last time this fired was during Trump's Liberation Day announcement. Threw in a couple thousand, and I think now we're up like 15%, about there, give or take. And then I have my income generation portfolio, which is where I'm slowly building up a portfolio worth of income generating assets. So you can think of dividend stocks, you can think of REITs, you can think of bonds, especially higher yield bonds. Just to give some examples of what is inside this portfolio right now, I have DBS, I have Netlink Trust, and Parkway Life REIT from cost price. These things are giving me about 6 to 7% yield. I'm going to take it. This portfolio is important. It gives me dividends. I can choose to reinvest it by buying into the S&P 500 or reinvesting back into the dividend stocks. or I can also take the money out and just go on a holiday. So with this, I can feel the immediate impact of my investments. I don't have to wait till I'm like 70 before I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cash out my S&P 500 and 70. But for the past like 7 years, I'm just like grueling and like suffering. This portfolio reminds me the power of investing and why it's important to invest. I know that in the future, I'll be reaping even bigger benefits. For this particular portfolio, I'm thinking of allocating about 30% into it. And that leaves me with about 30% left, and that's going to be in cash. Because I still intend to buy a house in the future, and the same fear does exist. If the housing market gets really good and I want to buy a house now, today, I still need cash. And this is not sponsored right now. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Whatever I'm doing may not necessarily be the best, but this is what works for me. And so I'm just going to share it with you guys. So a huge chunk of the cash is going into money market funds. So you can think of Mumu Cash Plus, you can think of Scythe Cash Plus as well. If I'm not wrong, those two give pretty good rates. I'll probably hit like the limit for Chocolate Finance as well. By the time this video goes out, I'm not sure whether Chocolate Finance has lowered their rates, but I was intending to put some of the money into Chocolate Finance. I know there was that huge scare recently that people were afraid about Chocolate Finance and pulling money out of it. Again, personally, I'm not too worried. To the best of my knowledge, Chocolate Finance puts your money in a separate custodian, so they can't take your money and run. These are just my thoughts. To the best of my knowledge, short-term Singapore Treasury right now are at like 2%. I think I've actually yapped a lot, so I'm going to be sitting here and focusing a little bit more work. And I'm also with a friend at the moment, so I'm going to be spending my time with him, and I'll catch you guys back in my place.
Please do not.
Alright, so I just got back. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'm gonna set everything up and I'm gonna let you guys know about my investment philosophy. Okay, so now that I'm back, let's talk a little bit more about my investment philosophy and why I invest the way that I do. So I think one slightly more defining feature you will find about me is how I'm a little bit more risk averse. I think this comes down to understanding your personality type. Being someone who is a little bit more on the anxious side, I realize that I cannot live life if I'm putting all of my money and all of my savings into high risk investment. For example, going full on into equities. I am not willing to take on that risk, and it's something that I just have to deal with. I think a lot of people are not fully aware of their risk profile, and then that leads to very poor emotional choices. For example, during 2020, the stock market went down 40%, and personally, I am not someone who can handle that kind of drawdown. And yes, this also means that I wouldn't be able to get the most returns, because if I went all in onto equities from the start, to be honest, right now, I will have a lot more money, but I would also have a lot of sleepless nights. And to me, investing should supplement your life and not something that rules over you. And I know that I'm on a journey to $1 million, and this is definitely going to slow down the journey, but this suits my personality the most, and I am very comfortable with it. But now that I'm single again, I may be more willing to take on more risk, so it kind of depends. And this is another thing that goes against what most people would say online, which is timing the market, or more specifically, do not time the market. Their stance is time in the market beats timing the market, and that is true to a certain extent. But I am someone who likes to time the market, and I have already developed strategies and different ways for me to time the market, and one of them is the indicator that I talked to you guys about as well. I look at that in order for me to time when I should get into the market. But if you're not someone who is very sure on how to time the market, it's always better to just dollar cost average. When it comes to the income/dividend portfolio, for me, what's important is dividend growth, especially if it's in REITs. You can see the dividend history, and what you will notice is that the price of the stock generally is tied to its ability to grow its dividend. And being someone who lives in Singapore, if I buy Singapore REITs, I do not get taxed on my dividends at all. Personally, I have taken quite a decent amount of dividends and I have spent it because that allows me to feel the tangible benefits of investing right now instead of waiting till my long-term portfolio has grown a tremendous amount and I sell it off in the future. Again, I do this mainly because it's for my psyche and for my personality. All into equity seems to be the ideal way that a lot of people are operating these days. So thank you guys so much for just hanging out. So I hope that you guys have been liking these type of videos. I want to bring you guys into my world and my life as well. But I also want to try to be as transparent as possible. So if you guys want to know anything, how I budget, how I save, how I track my expenses, what's my income sources, you can let me know, and my sister and I will try our best to make it happen. And the goal of this is to let other people see that, hey, even a normal human being like myself, we're able to take control of our finances and also invest. I will catch you guys next week.